Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And let me just be brutally honest for a second. Most agency owners aren't building a team, they're babysitting one. They spend their days chasing flaky prospects, repeating the same recruiting pitch 5 times a week like a parrot, only to have no-shows, ghosters, and broke dreamers drain their time and siphon their energy. And worst of all, their personal production suffers, and they start resenting the team that they tried so hard to build. And if that's you, you're not lazy, you're just trying to scale using effort rather than systems. That's why I built the Autopilot Recruiter, a done-for-you system that helps you attract qualified agents, pre-sell them with your story, and get them onboarded without doing another live Zoom, sales pitch, or three-way call ever again. It's the same system top recruiters are using to grow massive downlines in the 100s without sacrificing their commissions, their times, or their sanity. If you're ready to build a team that actually grows itself, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook and download the free playbook today. Today's guest is Jasmin Million. She is a driven insurance professional and team builder dedicated to helping families protect what matters most and empowering agents to create thriving businesses all of their own. So, Jasmin, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in life insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Oof. I think in my experience, a lot of times it's like self-belief. A lot of times you're going to be told a lot of outside stuff. You're going to be told you can't do it. You don't know what you're talking about. Uh, Sometimes you're not smart enough. And all of those things could be true. But I think the most common thing I find with people is if you are willing, you will find a way. And sometimes the most surprising, I would say, people are my most highest producers for sure.
What do you mean by that, your highest producers?
I'll give you an example. So I have a guy that is on my team that works for me, and he is 78, and he cannot work technology to save his life. Like I've had to walk him through so many like client applications because like he just can't do it. He is one of my consistently highest producers because of the fact that he's so real with his clients. He's so relatable. He's like your favorite grandpa that you want to sit down with, you want to have a conversation with, hands down. But so surprising. Like I totally, and I will say that I was guilty of being like, this guy doesn't got it. I kind of like cut him short too early, and he has been consistently very surprising. But it
That's
is,
fantastic to hear.
it's the will to win. And that's kind of something he always tells me is like as he learns, he's a slower learner, but like his will to win has brought him some serious success.
I ask agents all the time, like, can you list out what's your reasons why you want to be successful? And they give me one or two. And it's if I go talk to one of the people I know and like some of the programs and stuff I'm involved with, people doing eight, nine figures, they have a laundry list of reasons why they have to be successful. So I just write hundreds of reasons down. I mean, there's probably 200 sheets missing from this of why I have to be. And so when I ask agents and they give me one or two reasons, I can guarantee with 99.99 repeating, son, predictability that they're just not going to succeed simply because they don't have enough reasons to. And it goes back to that belief you were mentioning. And I know this ties into what you're really passionate about. So let's go into the story about how you were in Japan for a whole month and you were still helping families and how that kind of ties into the belief aspect.
It's such a crazy story because when I started in insurance, I did not take it seriously. I will be the first person to tell you, I tell my team this all the time. I had great success early on. I would maybe call it luck, but the first policy I ever wrote paid me 6 grand. This was a life insurance policy. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then like I just like didn't do anything for like 4 weeks because I was like partying. I was like, this is amazing. I've never gotten this kind of money. What am I doing? Like I was so ecstatic about it that I didn't understand that one, I got maybe a little lucky, and that was kind of unusual. But the expectation was so high at that point that I was like, this is great. And I kind of learned throughout the months following that you got to actually like do more than just like stumble upon a lot of money. And you have to uh talk to clients, got to know products. There was so much more that kind of went into it. I had to have like good intention. That's been a big thing that I've kind of learned is you have to have really good intention when you're working with families. And so my brother-in-law, he had this dream. He wanted to go to Japan. And he had had this dream for 5 years prior to. And he was like, and this was last year. He was like, I'm going to do it. This is the dream. And without even thinking about it, I was like, great, I want to go. Done deal. Right? Had no money, had no travel plans. I was just like, this is great. I'm going to do it. Right? And for lack of a better word, kind of fucked off a lot, kind of in the middle between this. Like I found success early on, and then kind of in the middle, I got lazy. I don't think there's a better word for that. I got lazy. But then as we got closer and closer to this trip, I got a lot of feedback that I wasn't really asking for. I got feedback from family. You don't make any money. What are you talking about? How are you going to pay for this? You didn't even buy the plane tickets. You don't even know what you're doing. What are you like? I got so much negative feedback. I'm a prideful person. I'll be the first person to admit that. I think I'm great. I have high value in myself. So I started to get all this feedback, and I was like, wait a minute. Actually, I kind of think I'm very capable. And it was like this belief in myself that I was like, listen, I'll prove you wrong. I'll prove it. I'll prove that I can pay for a month in Japan, no problem. And so I did. And honestly, and I hate to say this to other people, like, I will preface, like, don't do what I did. If there's anything I will ever tell somebody, like, don't wait to make that your reality. Like, my ego got hurt, and so I got angry and I made something happen that I should have made happen way earlier. Like, so I will say that I made a month-long backpacking trip happen in 3 weeks prior to the trip. Like I paid for the trip like the day before. I don't, yeah. I don't recommend that you do that. I'm not saying
Oh,
don't follow in my footsteps. But like they like the loved ones still kind of talk shit about it now. Like I still get a lot of negative feedback about it now. I think if I could ever tell myself early on, you were doing all of the right things, you had so much belief. I hear from so many agents, like so many people shit on you all the time for everything that you're doing because it's just insurance. You're not going to make money doing that. You should just get a real job. I hear a lot of that all of the time from so many people, including in my own personal life. And Japan was like kind of that stepping stone for me when all of a sudden I was like, oh, actually, I can make a ton of money all at once and I can help people and I have great relationships and I'm on their fucking Christmas card.
yep.
And all of a sudden, I was so empowered by the fact that I have all of these resources. And despite what everyone around me is saying, I'm actually really good at what I do. I actually have a lot of value. And that was something that Japan really taught me because, like, I had a great time. I backpacked Japan for a month and super awesome food. Oh my God. And I have great stories from that experience, but I was also still working.
Yeah.
Like, I still helped families, I still had conversations, I was still making money. But the reality is I don't know any other kind of like business that's going to allow you to do that.
Yeah, unless you want to go the route which I've taken after insurance and you create your own digital product, you have to understand what people want. It's all this talking to customers all the, I know, but God forbid you talk to some customers out there, for those of you out there watching. It's funny that you're bringing this up, kind of proving yourself, because this is another on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'll hear agents, they come through, get licensed, and just expect the world to be the path down to their door because they got a license along with 100,000 other people just in that year alone. And if that's your business plan, well, you might as well sell yourself your own final expense policy and start preparing for your own business funeral, because that's what it's going to need. But they come in, and they think they know their worth and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, look, you're an amazing human, but your customers don't know your worth until you
Yeah.
show them why they should listen to you. So I'm actually really glad you're bringing this up, because for those of you out there who are on the opposite end of the spectrum, where you haven't even sold a policy yet, and you're still talking about your worth and your truth, there's just the truth, okay? And the truth is the customers have a problem and they want it solved. And until they believe you're the one capable of doing it, your truth is falling on deaf ears, my friend. I'm not saying don't be confident, don't believe in yourself. You and I probably we could list out a million things that are great about ourselves, but it's the moment customers hear, they're like, "Oh no, they're cocky, they're conceited, they're
Yeah.
have that." But you have to go prove to your customers that you are the shit. So I'm glad you brought that up. What was your favorite part of Japan outside of the food?
Well, honestly, it was the people. It was so surprising. So, since we backpacked, we ended up in the country, and my husband is very tall. He is six
Okay.
two. I promise it's a big deal. He's 6'2", for lack of better words, he's a white guy. And the Asian women were fascinated. Like they had never seen a tall white guy in their life. So they were very like they
Touchy
stopped
feely, like get the hell off of them.
they were like stopping him in the streets. Like it was very like, oh my God, you're so tall, you're so tall. And they would like compare and they wanted to like get pictures with him. That was like I know, crazy experience that we had, but it was so funny because like their culture was so welcoming. That
Yeah.
was like outside of like the food and stuff, they were very welcoming of how curious we were. Because try and like learn Japanese. You let me know how that goes. It's a very hard language. So like we had to use like Google Translate a lot in order to like have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
And they were so used to that. But I mean, in the countryside, in Japan, like depending on where you are, they have like bottles that they'll pay for, like at a local restaurant, for example. And they have their names on it. So like the locals can come in, they can like have a drink or whatever from their bottle and then like leave it there. And in the country, we met a man and he was so excited to see us, and his daughter is in California. And so we're Google translating back and forth because he can't speak English and we're not that fluent in Japanese. And he wants to buy us a drink. So he gives us a drink from his bottle and then he wants to walk us home. And this guy is in wooden flip-flops. He's got to be like 70, okay? I'm not that old. And in the town that we were in, it's all uphill. He's like running uphill, and I'm like, I am so out of shape. I'm like dying inside. And he invites us into his house to have like another drink and like feeds us. And it was such a crazy experience because we didn't know this guy.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the most memorable things I did in Japan was the friendliness of other people, which I think is so relatable to what we do. Because like I've had people put me on their Christmas cards, and I've had people like, send me food and send me wine, and like it's such a relatable experience of how personal what you're doing really is. But you don't know that if you don't know that, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know that if you don't talk about it.
That's really good. I always knew I was doing something good when people took the time out of their day to go and mail stuff to me. If you are an agent and your customers are not mailing you shit, they're interested in you possibly, but they're not fast and you did not leave any type of remarkable. And what does remarkable mean? Well, it's worthy of remark. It's worthy of talking about. It was worthy enough for them to get their asses up and go to the mail and drop something in there for you, or drive to the post office, or drive and meet you. So if you want a good measure of success, that's not like you can't put a metric to it. See if your customers are mailing you stuff. And that's a really good indicator of the health of the relationships that you're leaving and the impression. People say first impressions matter. I'm gonna go and be disagreeable for a moment and say it's the last impression that matters. It's how you leave them. Did you leave them better than you found them? So that's really funny that you brought that up. Customers would send me weird stuff. I have
All the
a
time.
I have a peculiar diet, so it wasn't weird to get liver or something in the mail. It's like interesting, thanks. But it was fun. You mentioned belief as well. How do you give that belief? I know you have a team, so how do you give belief to them?
So personally, I feel like belief in anything we've ever done comes from seeing someone else do it. I think a really easy example is the first person to break the mile, right, in the Olympics. It was like you could never break a 4 minute mile, I think is what it was. Until somebody did. And then all of a sudden it was like back to back to back, they broke that mile. So for me, for my team, the only belief I can ever give them is anything that I ever do. If I am performing at a high level, I'm showing you what's possible. And so a lot of times, especially with new agents, like you don't know what's possible if you've never seen it. And most people need to see it to believe it. And I would love to be like, just believe it, just meditate, just like do X, Y, and Z, but that's not gonna fucking happen for most people. Most people need to know it's possible from somebody else. So for me, I have to show them that this is possible. I have to show them you can make 50, 60, $70,000 a month, and this is how you do it. Because if they can't see me do it, then when I'm talking to them, I'm not shit. You're not gonna fucking believe me. You're not gonna believe anything I say if I can't prove it to you. So the only way for me right now, and I'm sure this is gonna continue to be true, is like I have to prove it. That's where belief comes from, is like seeing someone prove to you over and over again, like this is possible. This is what it looks like. This is how easy it is. Because I do truly believe, like, if you're a good person, you have good intent, it is genuinely that easy.
Unfortunately, on the easy part, what's easy to do is also easy not to do
Of course.
for most of these people. I think the barrier of entry is way too easy for insurance agents. The fact that we can just take some 40-hour licensing test and it doesn't even take 40 hours. I mean, hell, you can get someone to do your continued education in 2 hours and just chat GPT. The barrier of entry has never been lower. And the fact we can come in and shit more money out in an hour than a doctor makes in a day or a week,
Oof.
it's unreal. It's unreal. If you go look at, man, some of the greatest producers out there who actually issue business and stuff, let's just say 50 grand a month or something of actual commissions hitting their bank, it take like 4 or 5 doctors to match that income. So it's nuts what you can really do. So I'm glad you're kind of speaking to this. This has been really valuable, Jasmine, for the agents and agency owners listening. You want to learn more about you and what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
I'm in the middle of working on a website because I have figured out that maybe people want to hear a little bit more about what I have to say. So I will work on that. But easiest way right now is going to be Facebook, which I know on my tag it says G.I. Jane. That's a different story. That's a nickname that I got from my team. I'm sure probably based on this conversation, you figured out why. But Jasmin Million on Facebook, please reach out. I talk a lot about kind of um what we're doing and why it's important, and I give a lot of educational experience on there. Um, but in the meantime, I mean, we're here to help. I think the most important thing and the thing I find most valuable about this is we're here to help. Because like I remember being someone who had no idea what the hell was going on. I was so overwhelmed. I was so confused. And kind of like you said, like I spent a lot of hours testing for some kind of test. I passed it. And then I was like, now what the hell do I do? And I was so overwhelmed by that. And you get a lot of feedback that isn't really helpful. And that's so overwhelming. And it's also so disheartening for someone who truly wants to make a difference, do something big. And you have that ability to do that. And a lot of people who join insurance in general, like I hate to say it like this, but like we're all gonna die at some point. And so like to be able to help families kind of plan for that, be protected from that, protect their loved ones, that there's a lot of value in that. And the wrong advice definitely kills that.
Yeah, you kind of gotta come in like a kid who still believes in Santa Claus in this industry. You gotta see the magic. So I'm glad you bring that up. You gotta be unreasonable, and people will call you delusional. Tell them to go fuck off. So we're gonna wrap up here. You guys go comment down below. Say thank you to Jasmin Million, the GI Jane of insurance, for sharing her insights on belief and traveling to Japan and having complete strangers feed her and her husband, her jolly green giant of a what did he said, 6'2"?
Yeah.
Her 6'2" husband, and feeding them Japanese, whatever they feed in Japan. So probably a lot of noodles. And for those of you interested in learning more about Jasmine, I'll have her Facebook down below in the description. Just go click at the tip of your dirty little fingernails that you haven't clipped probably, and hit the subscribe button. If you don't, I don't care about you. It takes 2 seconds. I drop a lot of value on here, bring a lot of cool people on here. Hit the damn subscribe button. Don't be ungrateful. If you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions, having unique strategies and stories to share. You can apply at the link down below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop getting people on your team that never sell a damn thing and drain your time, and you want to recruit the right people the first time on autopilot and fill your agency with rock stars, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friend. Jasmine, you crushed it. That was fun.
Thank you so much. So actually